Morning, students. This school is Azizi. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to start new chapter. It's about Santosh Yadav. The chapter name is Reach for the Top in the part 1. This is an article and it's about the woman Santosh Yadav, the first woman in the world to climb the Mount Everest twice. Her story is quite inspiring. She was born in a society where the girl's child were not welcome, and the girls were married off at 16. But this lady, Santosh Yadav, she made her own path. She followed her own desires and achieved world fame. So, it's about, I'll just read the paragraphs for you and I'll explain you. And I will also tell you the meanings of difficult words. The only woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing and a daughter, though not considered a curse, was not generally welcome. So this is what I just explained, that obviously Santosh Yadav was born in the society where they did not really welcome girl child. When her mother was expecting Santosh, a traveling holy man, giving her his blessing, assumed that she wanted a son. But to everyone's surprise, the unborn child's grandmother, who was standing close by, told him that they did not want a son. The holy man was also surprised. Nevertheless, he gave the requested blessing, and as destiny would have it, the blessing seemed to work. Santosh was born the sixth child in a family with 5 sons, a sister to 5 brothers. She was born in the small village of Jaunia, was of Rewari district in Haryana. So this paragraph is quite simple, and as you read, it's just a description that where she was born. She was born in a small village of Jaunia, which is in Rewari district in Haryana state. So, in that family, obviously, in that society, in fact, they generally welcomed boys, but she and even her mother was expecting, when she was expecting baby, she wanted a son, and she had already named Santosh. So it sounds like a boy's name, but her, Santosh Yadav's grandmother was also there, and she said that she didn't want a girl, boy, and she wanted a girl. So she was the sixth child in that family with other 5 sons. So she was the only girl child in that, amongst the 6 children. So all the other 5 were boys. The girl was given the name Santosh, which means contentment. But Santosh was not always content with her place in a traditional way of life. She began living life on her own terms from the start. Where other girls wore traditional Indian dresses. Santosh preferred shorts. Looking back, she says now, from the very beginning, I was quite. If I choose a correct and a rational path, the others around me had to change, not me. I'm sure it's quite common name, Santosh, and it means contentment, satisfied. But she was dissatisfied with the traditional way of life from the young age. So she started living her own life on her own terms, and while other girls at her age wore traditional Indian dresses like salwar, kameez, etc., etc., and she preferred wearing shorts. And Santosh tells herself, recalling from her childhood, she was determined to live her life according to what she felt was right for her. And if she was right in her way, then others would have to change their way and not her. Santosh's parents were affluent landowners who could afford to send their children to the best schools, even to the country's capital, New Delhi, which was quite close by. But in line with the prevailing custom in the family, Santosh had to make do with the local village school. So she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way when the right moment arrived. And the right moment came when she turned 16. At 16, most of the girls in her village used to get married. Santosh was also under pressure from her parents to do the same. Here, the word affluent means like well to do, means they were efficient financially. So again, this paragraph is quite simple to understand that her parents were financially sound and they could afford to send their children to the best schools. Even they could send to other schools in New Delhi, which was just nearby from her village. But due to the custom in the family, she had to go to the local village school, and she decided to fight with the system when the time comes. And it came when she became 16 years old. So at 16, most of the girls, like I said earlier, that they used to get married. And Santosh was also under pressure from her parents to do the same, obviously, to get married. And she didn't want. A marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. She threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get a proper education. She left home and got herself enrolled in a school in Delhi. When her parents refused to pay for her education, she politely informed them of her plans to earn money by working part time to pay her school fee. Her parents then agreed to pay for her education. So, as you can see that obviously she left her home and got admission in a school in Delhi, and because her parents were not very happy with that decision, so they refused to pay her education fee. So she politely informed them, conveyed the message that she was going to work part time and she would be able to earn that much money to pay for her education. Wishing always to study a bit more and with her father slowly getting used to her urge for more education, Santosh passed the high school examinations and went to Jaipur. She joined Maharani College and got a room in Kasturba Hostel. Santosh remembers Kasturba Hostel faced the Aravali Hills. I used to watch villages from my room going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. One day I decided to check it out myself. I found nobody except a few mountaineers. I asked if I could join them. To my pleasant surprise, they answered in the affirmative and motivated me to take to climbing. Affirmative means in positive. So, and the word here urge means requesting strongly, strong desire, and check it out to find out. So she moved to Jaipur after completing her high school, and she joined Maharani College, and she started living in a room in Kasturba Hostel. So from her room window, she watched some villagers going up to the Aravali hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. So one day she thought that she would go and check it out herself, and she found some mountaineers. They were not basically villagers. They used to climb on the mountains, and she requested if she could join them. So they agreed. Then there was no looking back for the determined young girl. She saved money and enrolled in a course at Uttarakashi Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. My college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May. And I was supposed to be in Uttarakashi on the 21st, so I did not go back home. Instead, I headed straight for the training. I had to write a letter of apology to my father without whose permission I had got myself enrolled at Uttarakashi. No looking back means obviously not in progressive way. She was heading in progressive way, and she was not going backward. And so, as you can see, that she found out an institute in Uttarakashi. That was Uttarakashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. So this is the institute where the people who want to get trained in climbing mountains. So she enrolled herself there, and due to lack of the time, she had to go to that institute straight away instead of going home after completing her semester in Jaipur. Thereafter, Santosh went on an expedition every year. Her climbing skills matured rapidly. Also, she developed a remarkable resistance to cold and the altitude. Equipped with an iron will, physical endurance, and an amazing mental toughness, she proved herself repeatedly. The culmination of her hard work and sincerity came in 1992, just 4 years after she had shyly asked the Aravali mountaineers if she could join them. At barely 20 years of age, Santosh Yadav scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman in the world to achieve the feat. If her climbing skills, physical fitness, and mental strength impressed her seniors, her concern for others and desire to work together with them found her a special place in the hearts of fellow climbers. During the 1992 Everest mission, Santosh Yadav provided special care to a climber who lay dying at the South Col. Excuse me. She was unfortunately unsuccessful in saving him. However, she managed to save another climber, Mohan Singh, who would have met with the same fate had she not shared her oxygen with him. So, after that, Santosh went on an expedition every year, and obviously, by going there every year, she improved her skills slowly. And she also developed her immunity to fight against the cold weather and heights, altitude, heights. So she had quite good qualities of physical strength, mental strength, and strong willpower. In 1992, this is after 4 years, when she requested the the climbers on the Aravalli Hills. She climbed Mount Everest. So within 4 years, well, this was altogether 4 years from the day when she was in Jaipur, and she requested the mountain climbers who were going on Aravalli Hills. So after that, after 4 years, she climbed Mount Everest. And that time she was 20 years old. And she became the youngest woman in the world to climb the peak of mountain, Mount Everest. And her seniors were also very impressed by her qualities of physical strength, mental strength, and strong willpower. She was also quite helpful, and her companions on expedition, they found her to be concerned for others and willing to work as a team. And during the 1992 expedition to Everest, she tried to save a fellow climber, but she was unsuccessful. She was successful in saving another fellow climber, Mohan Singh, and who was just short of oxygen, and she shared her oxygen with him. So she basically saved him. That's all for today, and rest of the paragraphs, in fact, the last two paragraphs, we'll read and discuss in our online class. So please don't forget to watch the video and make your notes, and we'll discuss everything in our online class, and that will be the end of this chapter. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day ahead. Bye for now.